Okay, welcome to the American Rambler, second edition for today. It looks like a divided Supreme Court. Well, it's really not divided, just 7-2. Thursday uphold what some consider to be a controversial Arizona law that limits how voters may return absentee ballots. Yeah, I think this is a good idea because you don't know how if you give somebody the ballot to drop in the box for, you don't know if they change the ballot. Okay? And with today's technology, you can easily do facial recognition and just vote online. So, Arizona law that limits how voters may return absentee ballots, weighing into a raging national debate over voting rights by no, see, this has nothing to do. What people don't understand about the Constitutional Voting Rights Act says that you cannot deny a person a vote based on sex, nor can you deny a person a vote based on race. However, you can deny people the right to vote based on mental capacity, and that would leave out a great majority of the Democrat Nazi Party. And also, you can deny people who have created who have felonies. Just think, would you want Charles Manchin to be voting? Maybe in California they would love him to. Okay, Associate Justice Samuel Alito wrote the opinion for a 6-3 majority, joined by the court's conservatives. The case, the most significant to deal with, come before the court since 2013, dealt with 2 provisions of Arizona's voting law. Before the 2020 election, state officials passed a law in 2016 barring unions and advocacy organizations from collecting voters' mail-in ballots. The practice called ballot harvesting. Yeah, very good. Now, this is a good idea. Another provision is even older and validates ballots cast in the wrong precinct. Okay? Yeah, you need to go to the right precinct, because what's going to stop you from going, okay, I'm going to go to this one precinct, I'm going to go to this other precinct, I'm going to go to this other precinct. So now you voted 3 times, which is illegal. The High Court's opinion comes after it gutted another provision of the Voting Rights Act that permits the Justice Department to review election laws in states with a history of racial discrimination. What's wrong with this one? You know, if they have a history of racial discrimination, and they need to start looking at their laws. This time the court signaled that the challenges brought under the law's nationwide prohibition on voting discrimination, though still possible, may become harder to win. Yeah. The majority opinion drew immediate blowback from Democrats, including Führer Joe Biden, who said he was deeply disappointed in the outcome. Well, let's see, they're just trying to make sure they don't cheat this time. After all, we have been through to deliver the promise of this nation to all Americans. We should be fully enforcing voting rights laws, not weakening them. How is this weakening them? Mush for brains. Okay. Strengthening voting laws by making sure that every person's vote counts and counts only once. Okay. Several Republicans applied to the decisions, allowing what they called common sense voting measures to remain in force. And Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said the decision affirmed that protections of the rights to vote remain strong, and the states are rightly empowered to administer and protect America's elections good. Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich, a Republican, noted that many states have similar laws and asserted that the benefits outweighed what the state described as the small statistical disparities between minority and non-minority voter participation. Yeah, today is a win for election integrity. I have to agree with that. Okay, once again, going over the 1965 Voting Rights Act only says that you cannot discriminate based on sex or race. It does not say that individual states cannot take away certain rights. Now, one of the things is not everyone should have the right to vote, and that was the original intent of our founding fathers. You had to have a stake in the game. Okay, so one of the things that you had to do was that you had to be a landowner, because that was how the state governments raised taxes for which they paid the federal government. But now with all these wars being started by both Congress and the president, in this case the Fuhrersee, they needed a way to pay for it. Fun fact: prior to Prohibition, there was no income tax. The money that was raised to pay the government was raised from a beer tax. When Prohibition came and beer was banned, income tax was replaced. So here, unless you are paying taxes, unless you're paying more taxes than you're taking from the government, you should not have the right to vote. Unless you are serving or have served in the military. So that. And 2, you must sign up for selective service. So fraud can affect the outcome of a close election, and fraudulent votes dilute the right of citizens to cast ballots that they carry appropriate weight. Alito wrote, fraud can also undermine confidence. Yeah, see, a lot of people are saying they don't want to say there's widespread voter fraud. Try and understand there does not need to be widespread voter fraud. The election is decentralized because we are 50 countries united together. And what they say is to form a more perfect union. It didn't say